everyone, I'm Caitlin James from Scalp MicroPigmentation Australia, and welcome to another 5-minute fast facts on Scalp Micropigmentation, the Pro Artist series, where we're interviewing some amazing scalp micropigmentation artists from around the world and getting their tips and tricks on how you can get the most out of your scalp micropigmentation transformation. Today's guest is way over the other side of the world to me, and she's become a great friend over the years. We've travelled together at the conferences and awards and have helped each other with our skills and advice, regardless of the distance that we have between us. She's made her own way in the industry, creating results that are no short of amazing. She was one of the first group of female scalp micropigmentation artists to become well known for her SMP talents. She is well respected by many scalp micropigmentation artists, winning many awards over the years, including Best Canadian Scalp Micropigmentation Artist last year at the World SMP Awards in Orlando, Florida. And she's been a finalist 2 years running for North American Artist of the Year at the Team Micro Awards. Today we are talking to the queen of scalp micropigmentation, Renata Pruszewski. Welcome, Renata.
Wow, thank you for this great introduction.
You've done a lot.
You always know how to make me feel good. Wonderful, thank you.
We should do this more often.
Sure. Good for my ego.
So tell us, to talk to our listeners and our viewers, and tell us a little bit about where you are in the world and what were you doing prior to scalp micropigmentation, and how did you start off in our industry?
Hi everybody, this is Renata from Scalp Amplified Studios in Hamilton, Ontario in Canada. I started in scalp micropigmentation in 2014. Previously, I was working part-time as a permanent makeup artist since 2010, but my background is actually in dentistry. So for, I don't want to say how long, but over 20 years, I've been doing dental hygiene and restorative hygiene. So I guess I have a passion of working with little things and very detail-oriented. That always, I guess, for a perfectionist, that's a perfect job to do. And after I found scalp micropigmentation, I fell in love with the procedure, with the way that it makes people feel. I really enjoy working with all kinds of people and improving their confidence, and their smiles after the procedure really are probably better than anything else that
Tell us a little bit how you got started. So where did you first see scalp micropigmentation?
So when I was working as a permanent makeup artist, I was doing eyebrows on somebody, and they asked me to do a little scar camouflage on the back of their head, which I thought, well, no problem, you know, the hair is brown, the eyebrows are brown, I'm using the brown pigment on the eyebrows, I'll start doing the little camouflage with the brown also. And it looked wonderful, it looked great for months and months, and then after a while, that person, which was back and said, can you check the back of my head, because the hairdresser was like rubbing it and looking at it, and I looked, and the eyebrows were still nice and brown, but the scar of the back turned really orange. And thank goodness it was my mom, because she didn't kill me, because she still loves me. But it made me think how different the scalp is and how different the pigments react, and why using the same pigment on the face is different than using it on the scalp. So I started researching a little bit more. At that time, there was not a lot of information. Whatever information was there, it was very top secret. Nobody was really sharing what they are using and what they are doing. So I decided that I'm going to learn and take the course from the beginning to the end and learn as much as I can. So I did, but again, at that time, scalp micropigmentation was still in a very early stages. Not a lot of people were communicating, not a lot of people were sharing their ideas, their pigments, their information. So, you know, slowly but surely, you know, starting to learn as you go, and then making connections over the years, and wonderful artists like you, Caitlin, and some other ones, and then going to conventions over the years, and now there's more and more information out there. But that's basically how I started in scalp micropigmentation.
Excellent. So you've treated so many different kinds of skins and scalp conditions with scalp micropigmentation. Tell us your most memorable transformation that you've created.
You know what? There is so many. I think all my clients are different in their special way. Even the regular baldness or hair loss, you start connecting with that client. You see how it affects them. Everybody has a story, so I like to kind of ask them and understand why they want to improve the way they look, or how they feel about themselves, when they start losing their hair. Like I said, everybody is different. I treat everybody the same. I try to do my best for everybody. Yeah, there are cases that younger guys are losing their hair at the age of 18, 19, which is sad. Then there are also older guys who want to still look young and fashionable and boost their confidence level. There are people with alopecia, there are people with old hair transplants that maybe the transplant didn't work, or maybe it worked at the time, and now as they are getting older and losing more hair. So like I said, like every case is different and every case is special.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And for clients who are experiencing alopecia areata, this is a scalp condition or a skin condition where patches of hair sort of become, or the scalp can become patchy, basically, is sort of how it's easiest described. So small areas of hair loss on the scalp. How can scalp micropigmentation be helpful to someone who's experiencing sort of just minor little autoimmune stimulated hair loss?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the studies show that about 2% of population some kind of form of alopecia. And yeah, there are different kinds of alopecia. There is areata, which is the patchy, like you said. There is the universalis, totalis, which usually involves the full head, that hair is lost. There is traction alopecia, there is scarring alopecia. But yes, with areata, where they get little patches, it's a little tricky because I think most of the hair that grows around it is still nice and healthy and really thick, and those patches are really, really visible, right? So we try to fill it in, create little impressions that look like hair follicles, so at least there is less contrast between the white bald patch and the hair that is still growing. So that could definitely with the confidence. With men, they don't mind shaving. Actually, when you shave and fill in the area that is empty and much wider, then it can fill in nicely. But sometimes with areata, you have to be careful because the borders still can migrate and the patches change. Or sometimes over the time, the hair grows back in the empty spot, but then they lose it in a different spot. So, having a relationship with your client is really important, because at some point they will have to come back either for a touch-up, or like I said, especially with areata, it's a little bit more tricky and more complicated. They will have to come back if the new patches develop.
Yeah. So I guess scalp micropigmentation is a good option for those that have tried medical treatments, or perhaps their areata is just not responding to medical treatments like steroids or other forms of medical management. So I guess scalp micropigmentation is a good option, and maybe as a last resort, because it is a permanent procedure, to help camouflage that out. So obviously growing the hair back would always be the priority for a client, but when that just doesn't happen, or they don't want to be using steroids or other methods, SMP is a good camouflaging option to basically put the colour through, so it's just not as noticeable anymore, and be done with it and hopefully forget about it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And then also it's very important to check if the alopecia is in the active stage, or if it basically is like that for a longer time and nothing is changing. Because like I said, it's difficult to fill it in if the borders are still active and still changing.
Mhm.
And also at the same time, if you're filling it in and alopecia is active and that immune system is actually attacking hair follicles in that area, it will be attacking the ink in that area also. So that will affect the retention. Sometimes it may heal and nothing stays. Sometimes it will stay, but then fade much faster. So clients have to be aware about that. It may take more than the usual 2, 3 sessions to fill it in and make it stay. But
Yeah.
also, it is very important to find a technician or an artist that is experienced, that worked on different skins. Sometimes people just hear about this procedure and then they go anywhere that is the closest or the cheapest, or yeah, alopecia, definitely with alopecia or anything that is out of the norm, scar tissue, stuff like that, that should definitely be done by somebody who is experienced enough and worked long enough to know how to work on those areas, work on that skin, because even the skin changes. It changes the texture when alopecia is in that client, right? Your immune system is different. It's attacking the hair follicles. Follicles are basically being lost, and the skin texture changes with that. So the artist that is working on the client like that has to be aware of anatomy of the skin and how alopecia changes it.
Mm. And sometimes we treat clients, in the early days, once sort of their alopecia has settled and they do look at doing a SMP camouflage, but then we might not see them for a couple of years and then new patches, can pop up. So it's important for us to have a good sort of working relationship with these clients, because it can change. Alopecia areata can change over the years as well, and certain lifestyle factors like stress are quite common triggers for new areas to start popping up as well. Have you worked with someone who you've continued to work with over a long period of time, who's had one area and then another area pop up?
Yeah, I had a couple of clients that were still after a while developing new areas, but I think, like I said, once it settles, those areas usually stay the same for years. Last year, I had a really sweet gentleman that had errata, and he had it for years, and we were talking about it, and he goes, yeah, whatever was lost, and whatever patches he had basically stayed there for years, and it's like that for years. So, like I said, it's a little bit more tricky filling it in. There were areas that were a little bit more stubborn and weren't taking the ink as well. Some areas, healed beautifully after 2, 3 sessions, and the neck area, especially at the back, that not only is a little bit more sensitive, but it's also it wasn't taking as well. So we ended up having another session or 2. But after that, it was all filled, and he was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and talking about the back neck area, that can be a area in some clients that's where it begins. It can sometimes begin in the nape of the neck area and move up towards the crown. So just to have a chat to us about the importance of the back neck hairline, for those that are missing hair in that area.
Yes. So hairline, when we talk about hairline, a lot of people, or most people, will think about the hairline at the front, right? Because that's what they see. But to do a procedure perfectly and do it so naturally looking that people don't question it, it's really important to do the hairline all around and even at the back of the neck, right? It can't be too straight. It can't be everybody has a different hairline at the front, but also at the back. So the hair should be tapered off and scattered a little bit more going towards the neck. It should be lighter as you go, almost a fade result. And also, I believe, about asking the client if he wants the hairline that is almost like shaved and trimmed by the barber, that gives you a more straighter hairline, or he wants it more natural. So just like the front, they are able to kind of decide what they like at the back, and then it's up to the artist to deliver the more natural look, the better.
Yeah. And last of all, what is the best part about completing scalp micropigmentation results?
The best part for me or for the client?
For you, what do you love most?
You know what? I love how it changes their confidence, because even the shyest guys that come in, and women, for the consultation, I can see that it really bothers them. It really, their confidence is really low. Their self-esteem is low. They don't like taking their hats off. Even when they talk to me, they know I do this all the time, but even though they know, it's kind of awkward for them to take their hat off in front of somebody. And with every session, their confidence is boosted a little bit. So once we do the 3 sessions, which usually, I'm usually done after 3, sometimes even after 2, you see the difference in their behavior. They stand up taller, they smile more, they are more, they joke a little bit more, they're more confident, definitely. So I love that change, because not only their hairline is changing, and that illusion of hair follicles on their head, they become actually more confident, more outgoing, if you want to say that also, because I hear that they go out more, they start dating a little bit more if they are single, right? Or they go out with their wives and they don't stay at home. They go to nice restaurants, they dress up. So I love hearing stories like that. I love when they come back after 2-3 years for a catch up and they tell me that they're getting married, or they're advancing in their career and stuff like that. So for me, that's a nice ending to the story, right? And for them, I'm sure they love the new look. They love waking up and not worrying about how is my hair looking. Is anybody staring at it? Do I have to shave? Do I have to add fibers to it? Do I have to spray it with something? Do I have to walk this way because the wind is blowing that way, right?
Yeah.
All kinds of stories that we hear, right? Which
we hear it all, yeah.
We're used to it, but regular people don't know what they are going through when they start losing hair, and they are so conscious about it.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, well, thank you so much for your tips and tricks today, mainly chatting today about alopecia areata and how we can help. A big thank you for being on our 5-minute fast facts on scalp micropigmentation, the Pro Artist series. Hopefully someone out there who is looking into this procedure with areata perhaps now feels a little bit more comfortable about how we can help. So thank you so much, Renata.
For having me.
If you have any questions or comments, we want to hear from you. So as always, don't be shy. Give us a call or an email. Pop something in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you stay up to date with our latest content. So thanks for watching, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.